Alright, it's on. Welcome, beautiful people. Hopefully this works. Hopefully I'm be able to rant within 30 minutes because there's a lot to talk about. And I really wanted to do this yesterday because yesterday I watched Child's Play, the movie, the 2009 reimagining of Child's Play, and I wanted to rant about it because the thing is, there's very little reviews up on Child's Play at the moment because it came out on a Friday, June 21st, I believe, 2019. The problem is, like, actually watched one of these reviews from like IG, and it was on YouTube, and they were saying it was okay. They were saying, like, it didn't live up to the first movie. So I was like, oh man, I actually just wanted to watch since I do like Friday night interviews and Child's Play was on a Friday. I really want I really wanted to cancel it. Not necessarily cancel it, but sort of cancel the Friday night interview or some shit because I really wanted to see this movie. I was like really hyped for this movie. I don't know what it is about certain movies, like, but I don't know. It's just like horror movies for some reason. I'm sort of hyped for, and I think more so I'm hyped for like classic horror movies that are now doing remakes or reboots or whatever the case. And so, like, Child's Play, when I saw the first trailer of Child's Play, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be good, right? And when I saw it, the first trailer to it, bro, that trailer was so captivating. I still didn't see that fucking movie because I don't know where else to go. I don't know where to fucking rent the movie. It's not on Netflix. Netflix is like the only place to go. There's only two places I actually watch movies: in a movie theater or on Netflix. Other than that, I don't know where else to go. Usually you would just go to Blockbuster, but that's not happening anytime soon. So it's like I don't know where else to watch a fucking movie. In any case, I watched Child's Play, and I watched it this Sunday by myself at 11:15 a.m. showing. I was the only Negro in the movie. The only one in the whole entire showing. I was literally by myself. And what I have to say about this movie, there's a lot to say, but I think this shit's good. This shit's good. I really like the movie. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. And this is not really going to be a spoiler. This is not going to be a spoiler movie. I mean, I'm not going to spoil the movie until later on because I know most people don't really watch my vlogs, or if they do watch them, they'll probably like watch them for like 10 minutes and turn it off. So I'm gonna spoil the movie all the way to the end and talk about all the stupid shit that happened in the movie that just doesn't make sense. You know how you when you watch the movie, when you finish watching the movie, you leave the movie theaters and maybe you have like, you think to yourself, man, I enjoy this movie. But the more you start thinking about all the circumstances or scenes that happened in the movie, the more you start like realizing the flaws in the movie. Like, that doesn't really make sense. How could that really happen if XYZ happened? You know what I'm saying? But in order to talk about Child's Play, but without spoiling the movie, all I can say is this, man. I think I watched all Child's Play or Chucky movies except Seed of Chucky. I think Seed of Chucky was the sixth one. No, Seed of Chucky was the fifth one. So I watched Child's Play 1, 2, 3. Then there's like a Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, and then there's like this Chucky movie that was it was in some type of asylum. I'm just gonna call it Crazy House Chucky or whatever. I don't know the name of it, but that was one of the worst Chucky movies. And the funny thing, I want to go back to the review that the person made from IGN. It was like, oh, they rated it like a 6.3 or 6.20 out of 10. I rate this movie a 7.4 out of 10. Like, it's a reimagining, so it's not like, oh, we're going to completely copy the same formula where Charles Lee Ray is some type of criminal and he gets shot and he falls into some type of toy store and then possesses some doll. No, it's basically like an AI that goes haywire because of certain things that was inputted or taken out of its programming. But I'm not gonna spoil the movie. I'm gonna spoil it later on. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I liked Andy. I liked the new version of Andy, or this a reimagining of Andy. I like the reimagining of Chucky because it's like he's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just there was some. I don't want to say it because it's gonna spoil the movie. There's just something that happened in the beginning of the movie that changed its behavior in terms of, and now it's acting in a very violent nature. I'll just say that. But there's a lot of stupid shit happening in the movie, and honestly, I was gonna say this. So I watched all the Chucky movies except Seed of Chucky. And I think that maybe Seed of Chucky and the Crazy House Chucky is like two of the worst ones. I think the Seed of Chucky one is when he had like a kid or something, and his kid was like a transsexual doll or something. Like it was, he thought he didn't have dick and balls, so it was like he didn't have dick and balls. So, he thought he was a woman, so then he just changed his gender or something. I don't know. I have no idea how that has to do with horror at all. I heard it was really terrible, and I don't know. But the mental asylum one, that I saw that shit, and that shit was terrible. And the reason why I'm saying that is a lot of people saying that this version of Chucky's bad. This movie is bad. And honestly, I think this Chucky movie is way better than Child's Play 3, the third movie, end up. So I think this movie, this reboot, this reimagining of Child's Play is way better than Child's Play 3, The Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, even though I didn't see it, The Curse of Chucky, and Crazy House Chucky, the last one that had Charles Lee Ray. I know there was like this big thing about, oh, Charles Lee Ray's not in this reboot. Oh man, this shit's gonna suck. And it's like, what? Charles Lee Ray wasn't that good of a fucking actor. Yeah, he played Chucky for majority of the movies, all the movies, I think. But who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. I didn't give a shit. I want Mark Hamill. I want Luke Skywalker to play the voice of Chucky. That's cool. And I think he did a good fucking job. Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think it's a good movie, man. I don't know. If anybody watched it, I would love to hear what you think about the movie. But I didn't want to talk about all that. But I'm going to spoil the shit out of this fucking movie toward the later end of this vlog. Because there's so much stupid shit that happened in the movie. And even though it's stupid, like there's a lot of stupid things that happen in movies. And just because there's stupid things that happen in movies doesn't mean the movie's bad. It's just like you understand why they did it. They did it. They couldn't fill in the blanks for certain scenes, so they had to leave it up to your imagination or something like that. But it's still stupid. But I'm not going to get into that anymore. I just want to just talk about that because I really wanted to talk about it yesterday when I was super hyped after watching the movie. But I couldn't because, I just couldn't. I just wasn't able to do it. But I do want to talk about other things. Oh yeah, so I wanted to talk about my diet, right? So last couple of weeks, I made a decision to incorporate more protein into my diet. So what I did was I got like chicken breasts and I got veggie burgers. But I got terrible reactions when I went to work. Terrible reactions. And I used to think to myself, oh, man, I can't believe the chicken is making me smell bad or the veggie burger is making me smell bad. So I did without them. I removed them. And now all I did was eat like apples, oranges, and sweet potatoes. But I was like, I need protein, right? So instead of just eating, chicken and veggie burgers, I bought like a carton of egg whites because I saw that egg whites, actually, let me see if I can, egg whites have zero choline in it. And since I thought I have T-Mile, I'm thinking to myself, okay, egg whites should be good because it has zero, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at some things I saved, some favorite things I saved, and see if I can show you the choline content. Hold on here. Okay, so I'm going to just show you this website called Self Nutrition Data, and they have just a database of all the different nutritional facts of food. And when you see egg white raw fresh, you see that the choline is 2.7 milligrams for 1 cup, and the protein value is 26.5 grams of protein, which is 53% of the amount of protein you need daily. So just 1 cup is good. And so my idea was to actually just, just get a cup of egg whites and eat that as protein, as also eat like sweet potato, orange, and apple. And I thought that's a good combination. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you smell bad with that combination? Eating sweet potatoes and apples and oranges, really? How can you really smell bad after that, right? For some reason, like, even when I cut out meat, I cut out chicken, I cut out veggie burgers, I still smelled bad to people. People were still acting like I smelled bad. Even the first day where I was working as an intern, if anybody doesn't know, I got some type of internship with this company because I said I'll work for free. And I do that because I need to get more experience on my resume. Once I feel like if I have more experience on my resume, I will definitely be approached more for companies and possibly land a job as a web developer. So, got this intern as a web developer, as a web developer, but I'm basically testing code or whatever. And I go the first day, and the whole office was acting like I smelled just completely terrible, and it bothered the fuck out of me. It bothered the fuck out of me. I'm like, how the fuck can you smell bad just eating those four things: apple, orange, sweet potato, and just egg whites? How can you smell terrible? Someone break this down to me. Break this complicated math problem down to me. That doesn't make any sense in my mind, right? So, and it was so crazy to the point, like, okay, so let's say there was this one situation where, there was a developer. I'm supposed to work with this developer to test out. I'm supposed to do some type of testing, to debug or test out certain endpoints for this developer's web app. So he was talking to me. There was a situation where I was talking to him about parking, because I was parking in this mall, and that's where you usually park. That's like the default parking. I was like, is there another parking thing? Because the prices for this current parking is like extremely high. So he's telling me about this other place that he parks where it's only $10. But when he got close to me and he's trying to explain stuff to me, I heard him hold his breath, like, and talk like this, like, and start trying to communicate with me like that the closer he got to me, which told me, like, okay, so you're telling me I smell so bad. You have to hold your breath to communicate to me when you're that close to me. And it just bothered me. And then they also put me in this like corner area of the office, and they would like avoid, traveling over to my area. And it was just so fucking annoying. Not only that, when I actually had to leave, when I left to go to move my car to the new parking area that was cheaper, and I left to go home to the parking area, the people that would walk or pass me will also like hold their breath. I would hear them do a deep inhale when they walk past me, or when they walk past me, they will immediately exhale. So if they were breathing in, they would say, like, they would like push out the air from their nose or some shit like that. Because for some reason I was so offensive, and that's the thing that really pisses you off. That's why I really hate being around people. It just pisses you off because, and one thing is, there's this strong frustration that you're trying so hard and you're doing so much shit to try to minimize this odor to the point that you're sacrificing a lot. You don't want to do none of this shit, but you're sacrificing a lot in order to be normal or to smell normal. It was so fucking bad to the point that when I was actually walking, when I left the internship or left the office to go back home, and I'm walking to go to the parking garage, I passed by a group of homeless people. There were 3 homeless people. And I remember this vividly. I passed by a group of 3 homeless people, and these 3 homeless people were having a conversation about wiping their ass. They were having a conversation about wiping their ass and where's the best place to wipe their ass. So I remember walking to my parking garage, and these homeless people were having a conversation to talking about going to Publix because that's the best place to wipe your ass, because apparently the towelettes or the paper towels are just in pristine condition, the best condition to wipe your ass with. I'm walking toward them, hearing them talking about wiping their ass with Publix towelettes or some shit. And while I walk past them, right? While I walk past them, I overhear one of the homeless people say, "Yo, he must have some type of disease." The guy said, when I walked past him, one of the homeless guys remarked that I must have some type of disease. Like, what the fuck? But he said it in such a like sympathetic tone, like he felt bad for my he felt bad for my ass. And it's so funny because it makes me think to myself, like, when homeless people feel bad for you, you know you're in a bad position in life, my guy. Like, when homeless people feel bad for you, you know you ain't doing well with your life, you feel? So I'm saying all that to say, I'm eating these food and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? How can I smell bad eating these just 4 food groups? So then I'm starting to think to myself, maybe sugar makes me smell bad, right? Maybe sugar makes me smell bad. Maybe like the sugar in the fruit is making me smell bad. I started to think to myself, maybe the sugar that's within the fruit is like fermenting the bad bacteria, whatever the bad bacteria is not really helping. It's not helping the good bacteria. It's like fermenting the bad bacteria, therefore making me smell worse. I don't know. And then I started to think about, you know what? I think there was a point in time where I stopped eating sugar in general, stop eating any type of fruit, stop eating type of food that had any sugar. And I should go to the link of, I want to show you that too. Hold on. What was the name of this website? Proboards. Holy shit. Okay, I think this is the one. Hold on while I'm waiting. Okay, so there is this website called Breath and Body Odor, Proboards, right? And I used to go on here like in the early 2010s and stuff like that. Let me show you what I'm seeing. So I created this, there was a point in my life where I reduced the odor, or I felt like I reduced the odor. I put like, I'm 80% sure that I don't smell anymore. And this is what I created in 2011. So I was like 21 at the time. June 21st, 2011, which is amazing. And I was basically listing out stuff about how I felt like I didn't smell bad. And I listed out things that I thought possibly, symptoms I possibly thought was attributed to the reason why I smelled bad. But here's this diet. So here, this is me at 21. Now, the way I've gotten rid of my odor is by following the no sugar FODMAP diet. I mostly followed the no sugar diet the most because I thought that eating fruit was still making me smell bad. The basic foods I've been eating constantly is oatmeal, blueberry, strawberry toast, and a vegetable smoothie, carrot, spinach, kale, parsley, apple, and lemon. I'm trying to eat plain salad, but the taste is still sort of gross to me. So there is a point in my life at the age of 21 where I felt like I brought down the odor, and I recalled that, yeah, smelling bad. I don't think I feel like maybe if I ate less sugar, maybe I wouldn't smell as worse. So I used to do like a FODMAP diet, but made it even more extreme by not even eating any type of sugary foods, which includes fruit. Even though there were fruits like blueberries, strawberries, and stuff like that, but I don't think it's going to have such a high sugar content, right? Not only that, there's another article or another website I want to show you, which is Amoeba blog, where it was talking about Danny Coons. I actually mentioned about Danny Coons before. Let me switch my thing. And this is the food list for fecal body odor sufferers. If you just type that in, you'll probably find the same article that I'm looking at. And Danny Coons have comprised a list of just PDFs, right, of food that's probably going to have high levels of these amino acids: tryptophan, tyrosine, phenylalanine, whatever, histidine, alcohol, sugar. And this is another thing that was very surprising about this article. It was talking about sugar, and it was saying sugar is a generic name for sweet soluble carbohydrates, many of which are used in foods. And sugar is said to, at least within this article, is talking about how sugar does worsen your odor, which was a idea I had in my head. Not only that, alcohol makes your odor worse, and all these other amino acids, like I said, tryptophan, blah blah blah. So he had a list of different let's see here. He had a list of different food lists that some are very low in tryptophan, tyrosine, all these other amino acids, and he has a very high list. But I want to show you just a little bit about the very low list. And there's a couple of things I've caught from the list. So one is avocados, which is interesting because I have an avocado tree in my backyard. Another one is broccoli. Now, I've heard broccoli is supposed to make you smell bad, which doesn't make sense to me because broccoli has like sulfur, right? It's a cruciferous vegetable and it has sulfur in it. So it should make you have a fecal smell if it has sulfur, right? But apparently in this list, it's very low. And then there's celery, and then there's lettuce, and here is just like a gang of different like potatoes, different types of potatoes that you can eat. And not only that, they have rice and brown rice for very low. If you have fecal body odor, hold on a second here. If you have fecal body odor, this is supposedly like the list you have to follow. So I found it so interesting because majority of the stuff that's like, the majority of the foods that are listed here are just potatoes, but not sweet potatoes, like russet potatoes, like white potatoes or whatever. Even like French fries are listed here, I think. Hash browns, French fries, all this shit is supposedly good for you. Or not good for you, but it's not going to make you smell as much when you eat it compared to if you ate a very high food list. So let's actually go to the very high food list. Because that would be fun to look at. And you should look into it too if you actually think you have fecal body odor, or if you feel like most people say that you have a fecal smell or you smell like shit. If you hear comments, oh, he smells like shit, he smells like literal shit, you might have fecal body odor. And not only that, I think there was this one post from Danny Coons' blog where he was attributing people who have T-mal type 2 to have fecal body odor. So now it makes me think, okay, maybe I have T-mal type 2 as opposed to, the first version of T-mal. But let's switch over to the very high list. Hold on a second here. So, alcohol. The first thing you see, alcohol beverage, beer, light, regular. Alcohol beverage, beer, regular. Apples. I constantly eat apples. And you just see such a gang of just meat in general. So beef, cheese, chicken, eggs. So I thought to myself, okay, as long as I eat egg whites, maybe I'll be good, But apparently, if you go back to the list, egg whites also make you smell bad. Egg white dried, stable like glucose. Okay, egg yolk. So fish, milk, nuts, oranges. I eat apples and oranges. I think even sweet potatoes is on here. Pork. Here's another thing that was very depressing. Spices like chili, oregano, poppy, parsley. Like you can't even get spices in your fucking in your diet, which is very sad. Let me go to sweet potato. I think there's sweet potato. Sweet potato, cooked, candied. Oh, cooked, candied. Cooked and candied. Oh, okay, if it's cooked and candied, then it's bad for you. Okay. Turkey, and here's another thing. Veggie burgers or soy burgers, unprepared. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. Watermelon's on here too. So once I started to read this list, I started to think to myself, damn, maybe I should start possibly not eat any protein, not eat egg whites, not eat apples. I used to eat apples, oranges, and sweet potatoes for months. Now I'm thinking to myself, damn, maybe I should readjust my diet here. So now for this week, my diet is basically trying to stick to this very low list. And basically all I'm eating is rice and potatoes. Rice and potatoes is the only thing I'm eating because I can't eat protein right now, and I think this is very dangerous. But I'm just doing it just for testing purposes, right? So basically, throughout the week, or half this week, half of last week, I was eating just rice and potatoes, and I don't know if it really was effective. I got to do more research, and I got to really look into this and just test it out for 7 days. 7 days without eating any type of protein. I just eat rice and potatoes for my meal, and I'm going to do this today and just test out for a week and see how good or bad the reaction is. If I still get reactions, okay, maybe this fecal body odor thing is not for me, or maybe I don't have T-mail type 2 or whatever. But if it does work, that will be interesting. So I wanted to talk about that and show that vlog. So if anybody actually have this vlog, I mean actually have fecal body odor, people say that you smell like shit, maybe maybe you can look into it. But I did want to do another thing too. I wanted to talk about this deodorant and an ES100, which is the nose electronic nose. Let me bring those two things. Let me bring them shits. Hold on a second. All right, I'm back, pal. So Loom. Loom is this deodorant that I've kept on hearing on these Meebo blogs or Meebo body odor forums. People always ask, oh, what type of deodorant you use? And sometimes I read comments saying, oh, I use Loom deodorant and I never have to worry about a thing, right? So Loom, I looked into Loom. I'm going to make a separate video about this, about Loom, about deodorants, and give my review. But I'm basically giving you a short review of this. Loom sucks. Loom sucks. People said, oh yeah, Loom is the best deodorant to use because it's never going to make you smell bad. It completely removes any odor or funk out your, upper clean glands, out your armpits areas. And technically this is true. Technically. And some people might ask, oh, well, why would you say it sucks if it technically is true? Well, the thing is, from my experience, first off, Loom sucks because first off, it's expensive. It's expensive as shit. I think I spent like $14 on this deodorant. Okay, so that's number one. That's strike one. Strike two, it technically does remove musty odor. But it replaces it with a sour odor. For some reason, this deodorant, when I put it underneath my underarms and I sweat, the musty odor is not there. It's not present, but is replaced with this sour funk under my arm. So it's like, yeah, it's better than a musty funk, but it's not a pleasant odor at all, or it's not odorless at all. You just get a sour funk. Even when I actually ordered, there's actually different, not flavors, different scents. And I think I got like lavender or something, right? I got lavender something, and it smells like herbs. It smells a slightly pleasant herbally smell. But the problem is I get a sour funk, and when I have to work underneath the sun, and my pits start to sweat and stuff like that, Instead of getting a musty funk, I get a sour funk. And that's not good at all either. There was this one point in when I was working where I had to be in a corridor, so there'd be people passing by, and my armpits were really sweaty because I was standing outside for so long. And I noticed that whenever I lift up my arms or I did any type of motion where I had to lift up or move my arms around, I saw people react even more, which was the craziest shit ever. Even though I didn't have a musty odor, I still had a sour funk. So it's like, what's the fucking point, right? And I'm so mad because like previously what I used to do was I would have baking soda. I put baking soda in just a container of water, get the mixture, place it underneath my arms, and then I'll get a slide of degree and then place it underneath my arms. But with that type of combination, it sort of worked. But if I had to stay outside for hours, like for example, it works if I'm not going to be outside for hours. But within my job, I am outside for hours. So eventually, it loses its strength, and then like the must start to come full force underneath my arms. So I thought, oh damn, maybe I need to try a new deodorant. Bought this thing, didn't work. Let's go to the ES100 too. So ES100. Initially, I said it does work. The problem is, as I continue to use this, and this is just a short review of it, it stopped working. You know what I'm saying? It stopped working. And the thing is, what I want to say is, I don't think the ES100 is going to pick up the odor that you are emitting. This undetectable, invisible odor that you are emitting. Apparently, the ES100 checks the gas that's being emitted from your body, but I think it only checks certain chemicals. And I think these chemicals that they naturally check are, just like the musty odor that most people have when they have bad body odor. But if you have, just this metabolic body odor and you're just emitting a different type of gas, a different type of flavor, a different type of odor, that it's not going to detect it. So I would test it out by going, doing bike rides for like 30 minutes and get really sweaty, and then start putting it on my, I start doing like this. I start putting it on my like sweaty areas to see where it goes. And majority of the time, I will get like somewhere between 0 to 2, which means you don't smell at all. But at the same time, right after I go to work, people act like I smell like the worst. So it's not picking up the smells that human beings are picking up, unfortunately. And I've paid $85, and I think it's a waste of money. So I'm going to return it. This is just a short review of it, but I wanted to cover that because I know some people are looking to hear what my review or what my take of the ES100 is. The thing is that I did want to say about this is I think this is a good step forward. Like, for example, if there was some type of way, like if there was like some scientists that were able to measure the type of gases that we are emitting, maybe like this Tanita company could create a new version for people who suffer from fecal body odor or PATM, because I know PATM emits some type of gas, and maybe this Tanita thing can pick it up and say, oh yeah, you're emitting X amount of gas, or you know what I'm saying? But I don't think, they're in Japan, so I don't know if I can even contact them, and even if I can contact them, I can't speak Japanese, so I wanted to talk about that shit too. So yeah. So, like I said earlier, throughout the week, working at the Culture Arts Center, it was just really a fucking annoying. Standing around for hours, sweating it out, constantly trying to change my diet and not really having success, or I don't know if I do smell. Sometimes they don't react, or sometimes some people rub their nose, sometimes others don't, and you never know how severe or how intense the odor is, so it just pisses you off. Like the last time I actually had to go to the job, it was on a Saturday, and it was 90 degrees outside, and I was just standing around. And this show was with a lot of like little girls. Like I would say like the youngest would probably be like 5, the oldest would probably be like 16. So it was like just a range of different dancers for this like show or whatever. And I remember like standing outside and like Just 5 minutes in, just standing outside. And I was standing in shade too. 5 minutes in, standing outside, 90-degree weather. I immediately feel a drop of sweat coming down the crack of my ass. Like my ass was sweating. 5 minutes in, my ass was sweating. I'm like, oh my god. And there was constantly there was just like a group of like girls like passing by me to go to a to go to another go to a go to a classroom because they had to change and whatever. And I would constantly hear like overhear some shit like, oh, he smells and shit. And it was just like the worst. And it just pisses me off just working at the Cultural Arts Center, bro. It just pisses me off. It makes me think like, damn, I really want my old job back. I really want my old job back. And I don't know what the fuck to do. I've been thinking about, I don't know. I've just been thinking about going somewhere. Going somewhere. I don't know. I've when I worked at the shopping plaza as a security officer for AKS, I talked to two. I wanted to say this before. I never had the chance to say this. I talked to like two truck drivers. And one of the truck drivers was driving a Caesar's Pizza truck, and he was like supplying, supplying stuff in the Little Caesar's Pizza store or whatever. And he told me that what he had to do, he had to go all the way to Orlando, and he had to like get a loan for $5,000. And he got a trucking license, and now he makes like $22 an hour. And this is his second year working. But the second truck driver I talked to, he didn't tell me how much money he was making, but he was telling me that he was actually driving a Fritos truck, so chips. And he was telling me that the Fritos guys actually paid him for training. They paid him to do training, so he didn't have to get a loan for some X amount of money, thousands of dollars. He actually just went to a Fritos trucking thing, and they paid him for training. And he has a CDL license, and I'm pretty sure he gets paid well. He didn't want to give out the amount of money he's making, which is bullshit. And I hate people who don't just be upfront about it. Like, I'm asking you a question, but I'm thinking to myself, damn, like, I'm really thinking seriously about being a trucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm really thinking seriously about just being by myself, just stocking up food and driving to a location and unloading the food or the items or the products and get paid X amount of money. They go out early in the morning or late at night, you're just by yourself. But I don't know. I guess I got to do more research. And honestly, the reason why I never really got into trucking or never wanted to go into trucking is because it's just the idea of handling this big ass vehicle. I don't know. There's just something about it just bothers me. In addition to that, I'm still trying to pursue web development, so I just don't know. I don't really want to do that shit, If there was like part-time trucking where I could work 4 days a week or something like that, sure, I'll get into it. But I just can't do it. It just sounds like it has to be a full-time job, and I'm probably gonna be really tired. And I don't know. I've heard a lot of bad stories about trucking, so I don't know. So, but I just really hate the Cultural Arts Center. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, man. I really hate the people there. I know they talk shit right when I leave, so it's like, but they like smile in your face, like, hey, how's it going? Like, they try to be all cordial with you. It just annoys the shit out of me, and I don't know what to do. But other than that, man, also with the internship, I talked about it a little bit, but I want to just emphasize, I wanted to emphasize that I only worked there for like one day. All right. I only worked there for one day for the internship. I went to the office and did stuff for the internship one day, and everybody acted like I technically I do have a disease, but I had some type of contagious disease. They kept a distance toward me, and even then they never really graded me or tried to connect with me or anything. So I worked that one day, and the next week they told me not to come in. They told me not to come in, but to do the internship, which is basically do some debugging code and create like some documentation on how to debug code. So the following weeks, for the first 2 days, which I only worked 2 days, I was sitting at home, and part of me felt like, okay, they did that intentionally because I smell so bad, so they want me in the office. But at the same time, it's a good thing because I don't really want to be in the office. I don't want to travel 40 minutes to go to an office where I don't even get paid at all. So I'm like, I don't really have a problem with it. Even today, I'm technically on my internship day and I'm talking to you. I'm talking to fucking camera instead of actually debugging code, but that's how much I feel about the job. I mean, I really want to get the internship and possibly get a job from this company. And if I actually did get a job and they told me just stay home and work for us, I want to have a problem with that shit. I would actually enjoy that shit. I would prefer that shit. But I don't know. It does low key a little bit bother me because it's like I know that they're telling me to stay home because they don't want to be around my presence because apparently I just have this obnoxious and pleasant odor that emits from my body. So it bothers me a little bit, but at the same time, whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's good and it's bad, but I'll just look at the bright side. As long as I don't have to pay 40, travel 40 minutes, waste a ton of gas, waste a ton of money on a sun pass, I'm pretty much good. So I got through everything, and I just want to talk about this fucking Child's Play spoiler shit because there's a lot of stupid shit that happened in the movie. It's already like 41 minutes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But I really want to talk about this. It's completely fine because most people are not going to watch it to 40 minutes. So getting toward the stupid shit, like Child's Play is so fucking stupid because it's like, like okay, in the first scene of the movie, you're brought directly toward Vietnam, where they're actually producing these AI dolls, right? Because this in this reimagining of Child's Play, Chucky is this rogue doll, and this doll is self-learning, and this doll has safeguards. It has safeguards to prevent it from being violent, to prevent it from, doing inappropriate things or saying inappropriate things. It has like safeguards built into its system. So in the first scene of the movie, like there's this like worker who was sleeping or whatever, and then the boss like fires him. So in order to get revenge, he turns off all the safeguards to this particular doll. And for some reason, just turning off all these safeguards is now going to make this fucking doll turn murderous. Like, if it was that, if it was that simple to make a doll become that violent, why we even have a system to being able to turn off the safeguards in it? Why am I tripping on this word? Why would you even turn off the fucking safeguards? Why would you be even able to even turn off the safeguards? Basically what I'm saying, for the doll to be fucking violent. It is just like so fucking stupid. And even after he turns off all the safeguards, now it's a rogue doll, right? And he immediately kills himself. He like jumps off a building and kills himself. And it's just like, that's the first thing that's just like the stupidest thing about the fucking movie. Like, it's that easy to turn off the safeguards, or it's that easy for the doll to become this violent, murderous fucking robot doll. All you gotta do is just turn this safeguard that says violence false or violence on, and now the motherfucker is just gonna grab a knife and start stabbing the shit out of people. It's so fucking stupid. Another stupid thing was like in the movie there was this scene, the first, I think it was it wasn't the first it wasn't the first thing Chucky killed. The first thing Chucky killed was a cat. But the second thing Chucky killed was like the ex-boyfriend or the boyfriend of the single mother. I forgot where the mother's name is. But the boyfriend of the mother or whatever, because I don't know, he was being a dick to Andy. So Chucky kills him, right? And he kills him at his house, right? Chucky jumps into a car and follows the boyfriend. But the boyfriend is not single. The boyfriend actually has a wife and kids, which you find out in the movie. And so, but at the end of the day, whatever. How he kills him is, he makes the boyfriend fall off this not stairs, this ladder, which breaks his leg. And then he automatically turns on this like thing called, I think it's called like a mulcher, which breaks up like dirt, and then this mulcher like crushed his skull or killed him because I don't know, just stabbed him in the skull and killed him or some shit. And then later on in the movie, Andy wakes up, and he wakes up to find like the face of the boyfriend stapled on a watermelon or some shit. And the reason why it's on a watermelon is because Chucky killed him in the fucking watermelon patch. Apparently the boyfriend had like some watermelon garden or some stupid shit. I don't think I ever seen anybody have a watermelon garden, but okay. But the idea here, or it's just thing that just doesn't make any fucking sense to me, is the fact that he slices his face off and attaches it to a watermelon and then gives it to Andy and puts it on his fucking room. And I'm like, what the fuck is that shit? Like, why would you even give, what is the purpose of giving a face that you cut off to Andy? Why would an AI robot think that's a rational thing to do? It didn't make any sense at all. Like, why would you think, why would an AI robot think that's a good idea? Like, and at the same time, it's an AI robot. So robots don't really have rationale, right? So you can make that argument. Okay, robots don't have rationale, whatever. But even then, it's like, there's something that's completely missing from the picture. How the fuck was Chucky able to slice off the boyfriend's head, or slice off the boyfriend's face, attach it to watermelon? Watermelons weigh somewhere between maybe 10 to 20 pounds, right? And Chucky's probably weighs like 2 pounds. So you see where I'm coming with. Chucky's 2 pounds, probably, in the very best. And then he's carrying this 10 to 20 pound watermelon back home on his back or some shit. Like, how the fuck is that even possible? How the fuck is he carrying a 2 pound fucking plastic doll, carrying a 10 to 20 pound watermelon all the way back to his apartment? You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Because in the movie, it doesn't show that. It doesn't show that at all. All you see is like him killing the boyfriend, and then the next scene, you see Andy waking up, and you see this watermelon with the face attached. But it doesn't show like the complex situation where the fucking doll is lifting a 10 to 20 pound watermelon and walking all the way back to the apartment complex. Like he's holding this watermelon on top of his head or some shit and walking up the stairs of the apartment complex to get into the house and then get into Andy's room and then place this 10 to 20 pound watermelon on his desk and then just sits there quietly like waiting for Andy to wake up and then be presented with a gift or some shit. Like, that makes no sense. I don't know how a fucking 2 pound doll is going to have the strength to carry fucking 10 to 20 pound watermelon for about a couple of miles on the road, then go to the apartment complex, then walk up the stairs with this big ass watermelon over his head, then open up the door to the apartment, then open up the door to Andy's room, and then place it on his desk. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I can't understand how that would even be possible. Another thing that was so fucking stupid about the movie was like, this fucking doll would just pop out of nowhere with no explanation, which I was already hinting at. Like, how the fuck did you get from that house all the way back? Did you do it on foot? If you did, I'm assuming you did it on foot, and that would take probably hours, despite the fact that you're carrying a fucking heavy ass watermelon. But even then, like, there was a situation in the movie where this black woman gets killed or whatever, and he controls the self-driving car, which is another stupid thing about the movie. So since he's an AI, he has the ability to control a lot of products from, I forgot what the product name was, like Casey or Calci or Calcified, whatever the company's name is. So he's able to turn on like the temperature, raise the temperature, lower the temperature. He's able to turn on music. He's able to turn on the television, right? All from this company. But he's also able to turn on a self-driving car. Like, why would you allow a doll to have the ability to turn on a self-driving car and drive it with his finger? In the movie, he's like maneuvering the fucking self-driving car with his finger. Why would you ever think it's a good idea to allow a fucking doll that's supposed to be handled by children to allow it to fucking drive a fucking car? Like, that makes no fucking sense in the movie. In addition to that, like, there's a number of, oh man, it's 50 minutes in. Fuck. Oh man, I just want to, I talked about a little bit about it. I just want to say this one more stupid thing in the movie, because I already hinted at how stupid it is that this 2-pound AI doll is able to lift heavy things. And toward the end of the movie, toward the end of the movie, he kidnaps Andy's mom. I keep forgetting her name. I'm sorry. Let's say her name is Linda. So he kidnaps Andy's mom and kidnaps her and puts her on some type of, I don't know, ties her up and puts her on some type of crane that was supposed to hang her. And throughout the whole movie, or at least after the movie, I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck is a 2-pound doll going to be able to subdue a 130-pound woman? Subdue her, meaning tie her ass up, put the fucking duct tape on her on her mouth, put a noose on her neck, and then attach it to some type of crane that's allowed to lift her up and choke her to death. How the fuck is a 2-pound doll going to be able to overpower a 130-pound fucking woman? That makes no fucking sense. And when you see the movie, hopefully you already watched the movie, because I'm spoiling shit at it. But if you watch that shit, you know, like, this shit is fucking stupid. Alright, but there's more stupid things that happen in the movie, but I'm gonna end it right here. Salute if you got to this far.